Let's have a look at this question. You can see the question is very simple. What we have to do is to identify the correct statement which is related to aromatic hydrocarbons. Very, very basic question. Let us see how to answer such type of questions. All right, so you can see we have to find out the correct statement for aromatic hydrocarbons, and the options given to us are option A is it has only sigma bonds. Okay, let's understand this with the help of a very, very basic example of an aromatic hydrocarbon, and that is benzene. All right. So as we know, in benzene, we have three pi bonds. All right. So in benzene, we have three pi bonds, which means one thing is very clear, and that is we cannot say that it has only sigma bonds. In fact, it contains pi bond as well, isn't it? So option A is not correct. Moving to option B, it is saying it has only and only pi bonds, which is not right. As you can see in benzene, we have sigma bonds as well. So you can see we have six carbon-carbon sigma bonds, and we have, yes, six carbon-carbon sigma bonds, and then we have carbon-hydrogen sigma bonds as well. So definitely option B is not right. And then moving to option C, it is saying it has sigma and two pi bonds. See, in benzene itself, you can see we have three pi bonds, which means option C is not right. And yes, let me tell you in general, although aromatic hydrocarbons contains sigma as well as pi bonds, but you cannot say that the number is always two for pi bonds. It can be three, it can be any other number as well. All right. So moving to option D, you can see it has sigma bonds and delocalized pi bonds. So let me tell you, this is right. We know that for a cyclic molecule to be aromatic, we know that there has to be a complete delocalization of pi electrons, isn't it? Or you can say there has to be a complete delocalization of pi bonds, isn't it? And yes, definitely in benzene, you can see these three pi bonds are delocalizing over this entire ring, and sigma bonds are also present here in benzene. So option D is the right answer to this question. Hi, let's have a look at this question. You can see in the question what we have to find out is the product when ethine is passed through a red hot iron tube. Okay, now question that came in your mind is iron is not written in the question. So let me tell you, whenever you see this red hot tube, assume that it is red hot iron tube. All right, until unless something is specified, you have to assume it as red hot iron tube. All right, and let's see what is the product formed during this reaction. So first of all, let's write down the formula for ethine. So this is ethine, CH triple bond CH, and it is undergoing reaction in the red hot iron tube. So let me tell you what happens when ethine is made to react in the red hot iron tube. Then there occurs cyclic polymerization leading to formation of an aromatic product. Let us see the product that is formed in this process. So what happens in this process is this is ethine, one molecule of ethine. So basically three molecules of ethine undergo cyclic polymerization to give you one molecule of product. All right, and this is how it happens. So you can see, all right, and then we have the third molecule present like this. So now this undergoes cyclic polymerization, and you can see clearly what is the product that you get as a result. Very simple it is. You can see clearly what is it that you are getting is benzene, isn't it? You can see you are getting benzene in this process. Let us now match with the options. So now you can see option A is cyclohexane, which is not right. Option B is methyl benzene, again not correct. Option C is benzene, definitely this is the right answer. And option D is ethane, which is not right. So only and only option C is the right answer to this question. Hi, let's have a look at this question. The question is about the reaction with ammonical silver nitrate, and what we have to find is which of the compounds given in four options to us will undergo a reaction with ammonical silver nitrate. Very basic question. So let me give you a straight tip here, and that is with ammonical silver nitrate, only those hydrocarbons undergo reaction that contains acidic hydrogen. All right, so only those hydrocarbons undergo reaction with ammonical silver nitrate that possesses or that contains acidic hydrogen. And now you can see in option A we have alkene, in option B we have double bond as well as triple bond. So that means we have ene-ine. All right. So I'm not pronouncing the correct name here. I'm simply writing it is ene-ine. Why? Because it contains double bond as well as triple bond. Clear? And then in option C, you can see we have double bond only. So this is again alkene. And then in option D, again we have a double bond. So that is alkene. Clear? Now, one thing is very clear to us, and that is more acidic character is shown by alkynes with respect to alkenes. Why is it so? It is because if this terminal hydrogen of alkyne is taken out as H plus, then whatever is the conjugate base left with us, you can say in this base, the negative charge is present on a more electronegative carbon, because here you can see this carbon of alkyne is sp hybridized. And since it is present on more electronegative carbon, the carbon ion generated here is more stable with respect to what you get in case of alkenes. Clear? And because of this reason, the alkynes are more acidic than alkenes. And we know that acidic hydrogen is the requirement to undergo reaction with ammonical silver nitrate. So one thing is clear, option A, C and D we can obviously neglect, and thus the only right answer to the question is option B. But let me tell you what actually happens during this reaction. So what happens is, let us write down the reactant. So we have CH3, we have CH, double bond CH, and then what we have is C triple bond CH. Clear? Now this is made to react with ammonical silver nitrate. So what will happen is, you can see this H, or you can say this acidic hydrogen, will leave from here, and in place of it, silver ion will you can say attach with the carbon ion that you will get. All right. So what is the final organic product is CH double bond CH, C triple bond C negative, Ag positive. Clear? So this is what you get as the final organic product along with other side products that you will get. Clear? And this is white PPT. All right. Yes. So now you can see clearly what happens during this reaction. So the only answer to this question is option B. Hi, let's have a look at this question, and the question is very basic. What we have to do is to assign the IUPAC name to the given aromatic compound. All right. So very simple it is. What you have to first do is to find out the parent chain. You can see we have a benzene ring, a 6-membered ring. So this definitely will be our parent chain. So let us write here parent chain is 6-membered. All right. And now what we have to do is to assign locants. So here you have to actually use your mind a bit. All right. So you can see we have two substituents here. One is bromo. Let me write down. One is bromo and other is nitro. Now, since both are used as substituents, so let me tell you, whenever you find halogens on benzene or you find a nitro group, both are always used as substituent, or both are always considered as substituents. Clear? So since both are substituents, that means both will be indicated by the secondary prefix, isn't it? And we know that when we have more than one type of substituents on a parent chain, then while writing the name, we have to use the alphabetical order, isn't it? So now alphabetical order, if you see, then B comes prior to the N, isn't it? That means while assigning the locants, the bromo substituent will be given preference over nitro substituents. Why? Because it is alphabetically at a you can say priority as compared to that of nitro. Clear? So that means here we will give 1 as the locant. So 2, 3, and nitro will therefore get locant number 4, and then 5, and then 6. So now let us write down the name. First of all, we'll start with secondary prefix, and that too we have to follow the alphabetical order. So what the name will come out to be? It will be 1 bromo, 4 nitro, 1 bromo, 4 nitro. Then word root is, and yes, one thing here, here although the parent chain is cyclic, but we will not use any primary prefix. Why? Because the word root itself, that is benzene, is accepted by IUPAC, and this benzene itself inherits the, you can say, component of primary prefix as well as the component of primary suffix. So there is no need to use primary prefix and primary suffix when you are using benzene as the word root. Clear? So here you can see we have benzene. Clear? So the name will be 1 bromo 4 nitro benzene. So let us now match with the options. You can see option A is 1 nitro. See, this is wrong. It has to be 4 nitro, not 1 nitro. Now moving to option B, it is 1 bromo 4 nitro benzene, exactly the one that we have just written. So moving to option C, it is 1-bromo-nitrobenzene. See, this is wrong. Why? You can see the locant of nitro is not mentioned, and that means there will be a discrepancy. There will be a confusion while writing the structure from this name. All right. So now moving to option D, it is saying 1-nitro-bromobenzene. Again wrong. We know that nitro should be at 4th locant. Clear? So, so the only correct answer to this question is option B. Hi. Let's have a look at this question. The question is, what will happen when you treat sodium benzoate? In fact, not treat, it is heat. So when you heat sodium benzoate with soda lime. All right. Very interesting case. You can see we are doing we are reacting sodium benzoate with soda lime. Let me tell you, this process is called as a decarboxylation. This is called as decarboxylation. Clear? Now let me tell you what happens in this process, and then we will read the options. All right. So now you can see we have sodium benzoate. Benzoate it is, yes, absolutely. So sodium benzoate is like this. You can see it is sodium salt of benzoic acid. So this is sodium benzoate. Now it is made to react with soda lime, which is nothing but a mixture of NaOH and CaO. All right, this together is called as soda lime. So now what happens is, you can see clearly here this NaOH will give Na plus and OH minus, isn't it? Absolutely, it will give Na plus and OH minus. Clear? And what happens next is, you can see we have soda. We have sodium benzoate. So in the presence of NaOH, what will happen? It will dissociate into this benzoate ion and sodium ion. Clear? Now what happens next is this electrons will delocalize, leading to breakdown of this carbon. You can say carbonyl carbon and benzene carbon. The bond that is there between these two, this bond will break. Thereby what we will get is, we will get phenyl carbon ion. Clear? So this is what we will get along with release of CO2. Now interesting thing here is this process, this particular step wherein you are getting this phenyl carbon ion generated from benzoate ion is the rate determining step of the reaction. Alright, this is RDS. So now what happens next is, yes, this is phenyl carbon ion, which is intermediate of this process. Phenyl carbon ion. So now what will happen next is, you can see if CO2 will remain in the system as such, then there is a possibility that this phenyl carbon ion will again attack on CO2, thereby leading to formation of that benzoate ion again. All right, which means this reaction is reversible if CO2 is not removed. So now in order to you can say make this reaction proceed in the forward direction, what we have used is calcium oxide. We know that calcium oxide is known to absorb CO2, thereby getting converted into CaCO3. So the exactly same thing happens here. This product, that is CO2 here, which is responsible for the backward shift of the process, is actually removed with the help of CaO, and thus it forms CaCO3. All right. And since you are removing or you are consuming the product, so as per the Le-Chatelier's principle, your equilibrium will shift towards the forward direction, thereby giving you more of this phenyl carbon ion. Clear? Now what happens next is this phenyl carbon ion, that is what you are getting. So this phenyl carbon ion will now react with water, which you will get in the process. All right, so water, which is what you will get in the process. So now it will abstract hydrogen from the water, thereby forming benzene. All right, and the OH negative left will again combine back with the Na positive ions to form NaOH. Clear? So this is what takes place in the reaction, and this benzene is the final product, or you can say final organic product, although you'll get other side products also. So this is the final organic product. So now let's match with the options. So option A says formation of phenol takes place. No, there is no phenol formation in this. Option B is formation of benzene takes place. Absolutely, benzene is the final product. Option C is formation of benzoic acid. Not right. All right, and option D is formation of toluene takes place. Again, not correct. Clear? So the only right answer to this question is option B.